So Favor, you can start the defend, okay? You can start your defend. Hello, Favor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can start your defend.
Okay, sir. Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening.
This was data sets that we were given. So I started by, first of all, I had to change the heading of the data set because the data set was written in lowercase. So since it was, I wanted to convert it to an uppercase. Then I used the command function, which was equals to upper. Then I selected one of the cell and I converted it to an uppercase, which I copied and pasted so that I could have a final set of heading. Then the next thing I did, I went to check for the range of the cell. And to do that, I used the counter. So I used counter. When I entered it, it gave me the range of the cell, which was 10001. So it could be easier for me to navigate my way while I was working. The next thing I did was to check
So I think he's still having network issue. He's still having network issues. So hello Queen, please kindly share start your defend.
Right, sir. Good evening, Mr. Moses. Good evening, my fellow colleagues, and congratulations on our graduation today. So, before I get into my defense, I just want to apologize in advance because I don't own a laptop. I use my phone. I downloaded an Excel app, and that was what I used throughout our training and also for my defense, also for my project. Sorry. All
Okay,
right.
you can continue.
All right. So the first work that was given to us, you gave us a data set to work with, and you told us to the first work was to look for the duplicates to calculate the minimum, the maximum, the average, the total. So that was what I did. So for the duplicates, I went to the data tab and I entered the duplicate. I clicked on the duplicate option to look for the duplicates and remove them. Then for the average, the minimum, and the average, the minimum, the maximum, and the total scores, I used the sum, auto sum function for it. Hello.
Yes, you can continue. Just continue.
Okay. All right. So that's how I make the calculation. Then the grading, I use the if analysis to type in. I typed in the if command and I used it for all the data. Then moving on to the second one, which was the chat. Though I don't know how my chat is going to appear on your laptop, but it was really compressed on the phone when I was working on it. So after the calculation, I went to insert and I used the chat option. I used column chat, and I think I used a 3D. It was not stated, it wasn't that signified on my own end, but I think I used a 3D. But the data set is huge, so the columns were looking very tiny on my own end. I don't know how it's going to appear on the system.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you share the visualization.
Yeah, I don't have PowerPoint. So I was not able to do PowerPoint. So I was able to just do the table, the analysis, and then the chart. That is project two. I sent three. I sent project one, which is the project that pertains to the first work he gave to us, which said that we should we should look for duplicates, minimum, maximum, average, and total. And
Yeah.
that's project one. Then project two, which I was supposed to present in a PowerPoint, but I don't have PowerPoint on my phone. I just have only Excel. Then Word. PowerPoint ain't working. So I used just chat and I used the analysis, the table, and then I used chat to represent. The chat is by the side of the table. If you move to the right hand side, you should be able to see the chat
On this
on project two.
on project two, I
Yes.
think I could not find anything like chat there. I could not
Oh.
find it. No, I think you did not send the data for the project two. Okay.
Sorry,
Let's.
my
Um,
apologies. I will send it in after the defense. So I
so I
use
would
the
like
chart
to.
to present the data.
Okay.
Now moving on to the macro VBA, which is number three, using a pharmaceutical um please can you put it on?
Okay. The inventory system.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see if the inventory system is opening because it's not running. So let's see if it will open. Yeah, I'm trying to open it
All right,
now.
sir. Thank you.
It's,
Yes.
so I'm trying to open it now. So just please wait a minute.
Right.
Okay. So I don't really know what did you use to design it.
Excel for mobile app. I downloaded it from the App Store after Mr. Martins instructed us to do so on our first class. Since I don't have a laptop, I was using
Okay.
it on my mobile learning. It refused to open.
Yes, I've I've seen the I've seen it. I've seen the design. So let me share it for you to see.
All right.
Can you see it?
Not yet. I don't think you're sharing your screen yet.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Okay, yes. Yes, that's common. All right.
Okay.
So
Now
this one,
this is
I missed the class on macro VBA, but I went back on YouTube to watch it. So I followed all the steps you used. It's just that the Excel on the phone is not as comprehensive as the one on the system because I didn't have other tabs. Like you said, for us to get the developer, we had to go to these tabs, search for more commands or something like that. But that option was not available on Excel on the phone. So I had to do this stuff manually. All right. So this is the
Oh,
interface. Yeah, this is the interface that contains the
okay.
name, the staff ID, the country, the I use office for mine to designate if the office is in Lagos or Asaba. And also, I was not able to input the submit buttons, the option button, the list, because my Excel on the phone doesn't have those accessories. So there's salary, there's medical allowance, there's tax deductible, and then there's a net pay. Then I please scroll down.
Okay. 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 Okay, I'm coming. Let me scroll down for you.
All right, thank you, sir.
I'm coming. Okay. Now this is it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I've scrolled
So
down.
yes, thank you. I can see it here. So I copied the headings, the staff ID, the name and all that. I brought it down. And then I for the staff, I did exactly what you told us to do. I use a command for each for like for now, staff name. I tap the cell in front of it and I and I put input equal to, and then I tap the cell in front of staff ID at the top on that interface to make sure that everything I input there will appear here. So I did the same for all of them. And then when it comes to salary, I have to make salary, medical allowance, tax then deductible and net pay. I have to customize them into accounting. And I use the pound, the euro currency. Are you with me, sir?
Okay. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. You can
All
continue.
right,
Just
all right,
continue.
all right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
So now I copied this interface, the headings, and I took them to database, which is the second sheet. Please can you move to the second sheet?
Good. Good.
Yes, so
Good.
this is my data set, my database. But I couldn't because of the lack of developer and this comprehensive data options for me on the phone Excel. I had to do all this manually. I couldn't record like you told us to do. What was I forgotten the name? Oh my gosh. Something record, like if you start recording, whatever you do on the interface appears here. That was how you
Yes.
do that. But I couldn't do that because I never had that option. So I had to type everything. I even to paste this in transpose. You know, you told us to use control control alt and V, control alt V to make a transpose. I couldn't do all that. So I had to input everything manually. But I think it still came out beautifully. So there's
Okay.
my staff name, all my staff, and then the staff IDs, and then the offices, Asaba and Lagos. The country, sorry, the countries. I use Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria, so on and so forth. And then for the staff offices, I used only Lagos and Asaba to show that the branches we have in Nigeria are just Lagos and Asaba. And then here's the staff salary, which ranges from 200 to 800 euros. And then the medical allowance is static, is 50,000. Then the tax deductible is 15,000. And then here is the net pay. Now for the net pay, I use the auto sum, which is you input the equal to, and then I tapped on the salary first, then plus, tap on the medical allowances plus, and then minus tax deductible to get these figures under the net pay. So this is
Okay. Okay. We are done with this. So let me display the other part again from the Excel.
all right, sir.
Okay. So I'm coming. I'm coming. Please wait a minute.
No problem, sir.
So when we talk about the grading in your Excel, so let's see what you did in that your Excel. I think although you tried, you tried, but the your phone gave you some little tasks to do. You tried for using your phone to achieve this. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for the zeal,
Thank you, sir.
the time you took.
Thank,
Okay,
thank you, sir.
I appreciate you for that.
Mm.
So then you did not explain how you arrived to or how you calculate the your grades, and you did not give us the statistical method you use. How did you arrive it? Although due to you said that the PowerPoint you did not have it. You know the PowerPoint give us a summary of what you did. So
Yeah.
I wanted us to have the idea on presenting very well. So
All right.
we may not you may not have learned everything here, but I think the little you have learned, you should be able to utilize it very well. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So is there anyone who is available for defend? Is there anyone who is available? Ogunde Akerejola, I think your network is having issues.
So I've changed SIM. I don't know. I've changed to two different SIM, and I
What
don't know.
SIM are you using?
I've changed to MTN. I've changed to my two Airtel, and it's still the
Are you
same SIM.
using MTN now?
Yes, I've switched to MTN now,
Okay,
and it's still.
okay. I think Queen, you have tried a lot. So my essay is giving me some challenge. Like your visualization has tried to hang my system. So
Oh,
let's
sorry. Please.
favor took
All right. Thank you, sir. Sorry, please
the
let me.
visualization. Okay, the visualization is too much. Okay, it's too much. It's too much due to the number of data. So the capacity, I expected you to use some limited amount of students. So this is the data. This is the data. So how did you arrive to this grading system? Hello.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know my mic was muted. Sorry. All
Wow.
right. So I remember the class we took with Mr. Martin. I think that was his second. Was it the first assignment we did? Well, we used the condition if a score is up to from 40 up to 50, it will be um from 40 to it will be F. Then from 70 to 100 will be A. Then the B is 60 to 70. Then the C is 50 to 60. So that was how I did grading.
Okay, okay. And did you try to get the average, the mean?
Yes, sir, I did. It's on the I think it's on the project. Please check at the top, you see at the heading. We
Yes, sir.
have the minimum, the maximum, the average, the mean. It's on the heading. After the score,
So
you're
I
going
would like you to, okay, after this, I would like you to explain how you got the average.
all
I
right,
just want to hear from you, okay?
sir. I use the auto sum function, and under the auto sum function, I tapped on the mean. It helped me calculate. Then I tapped on the average, duplicate, and also what they call it, the minimum and the maximum. So I use the auto sum function.
Okay, you use the auto function. So why did you not use the the direct function on the cell? Why did you choose to use the auto function?
For me, it was easier.
It was easier.
Yes, sir.
Uh, when you say easier, I think for you to gain more knowledge, like master the function, you have to practice on it. Okay, that's why I suggest people to use the direct function or the
Okay.
direct command. Okay, so thank you
All
for this, and we appreciate you.
right.
So
Thank you, sir.
your certificate has been shared to you on your folder. So,
Thank
Akere Jola,
Hello, sir.
you're welcome.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
You're
I'm really
welcome,
sorry for
Akere
stressing.
Jola. You can defend.
eh, I'm so sorry for stressing you this much. I don't know. My network is just misbehaving.
Okay, you can start. You can start.
Hello.
You can start.
Okay. I'm trying to do that now. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.
Just
So
continue.
I
Continue.
start. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So what I did when you gave us this data set, I started by the first thing that was there was the heading. The heading was in lowercase letter. So I converted it to uppercase, and this was with the function I used. I used equals to upper, then I selected just one of the cells. And when I entered it, it gave me like this stuff. Then I had to use this option. I dragged. So when I dragged, it auto-filled the remaining one. Then actually I converted to table, but I found out that this was not the exact one I used. So it was when I converted to table, I was able to check for duplicates. Then when I checked for duplicates, I found out that there was no duplicates of any of the data set that was there. Then the next thing I did was to check for the range. So when I entered the value, it gave me that the total, like the range of the data set was 1000. So for me to check for the range, I used equal to enter AA. So when I entered the value, it gave me that the total, like the range of the data set was 1000,001, so that it could be easier for me to navigate my way through the data set. Then after I did that, I
Okay. Queen, Jumbo, Jumbo Joy. Hello, Jumbo. Hello, Jumbo. Hello, Jumbo Joy.
Me.
Please, can you start your
Yes,
defend?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please start your defend.
Okay, sir.
I'm online. Go that side. Don't come here. Go that side.
Wow, 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 wow. I love this. I love this. I love this.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you can continue. I love your presentation. I think you're having network issue too.
Thing summary of my work, but I didn't remember that I was supposed to add how we got the macro, how we use the macro VBA, because the Excel in this system it didn't work. So I had to go and use Cyber Cafe to do the analysis. So I guess that was why I was having some issues. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hello, sir.
Please, Akejola, please kindly hold on, okay? Jumbo Joy is defending. So you can continue, Joy.
Okay, the data set you gave us, I you said we should look for duplicates, and I didn't want to do it manually. I just used the function, the duplicate function, check for it, and it said there was 7 duplicates, but when I was checking it manually, I didn't really see the duplicates. Then I also said we should take the mean, the average, and the sum, total sum, which I also did. And the grade, I also used the method function to calculate, to grade the different students. So this is the sum, the total sum, the average, the maximum, and I also counted the male total.
Okay? You can continue. Hello, Joy, you can continue. Hello? Hello, Joy. Hello, Joy, you can continue. Hello? So, is there anyone who can hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think Joy is having network issues. It's not responding. Hello, Joy. Hello, Joy.
Hello?
I think you're having network issues too.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So you can continue.
Hello, sir. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can continue.
Hello?
Yeah, please continue. Continue. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So you asked us to work on pivot table, which I also okay.
Oh, so Ogunbemi, uh, Ogunbemi, are you here? Hello, Ogunbemi. Hello, Ogunbemi, are you here? Hello. So,
Sir,
Ayodele,
yes, sir.
can you defend now? You can defend. Continue.
Yes, I can defend, but you have to help me with the screen, sir. I don't know. My laptop is not, I don't know. The network is not bringing it up, sir. But you can help me with the screen, sir.
Okay. Let's see what I can do for you. Uh, okay, okay, okay. Uh, so I'll go with the PowerPoint first. I'll go
So,
with the PowerPoint. So you are going to start with the PowerPoint.
okay.
So continue.
Um, Good evening, everybody. Um, my name is Ogunbo Ayodele, and I want to present this. Actually, this PowerPoint. I want to present my project, but this PowerPoint, I couldn't finish it due to unavailability, my unavailability. Like I was really busy, but I tried to actually put something together. So, um, this PowerPoint actually contains. So you can go to the next slide, sir.
Okay.
So the first part of the question, the projects were given were told that we should analyze the student performance sets, the student performance data to set the following. That is, we should look for duplicate, average of their scores, sum, maximum, and minimum, and also their grade. So the first thing I did was, um, as a data analyst or as an analyst, whenever we're given any any data set to work with, it is not in our own. We're not supposed to actually tamper with whatever data we're given. However, we're supposed to analyze, and if we're actually going to tamper with the data, we should let the person sending the data out to know that, oh, we actually found this error and all of that. So do we have his or her permission? Or even at that, we should be able to clean the data ourselves and all of that. So what I'm saying basically is, I noticed that everything that the headings of the data sets, the gender, that is the title, that is the gender, the race, ethnicity, parental level of education, lunch, and everything was written in um, small letter. So it's not in my own opinion. It's of my own opinion that I'm not supposed to tamper with that, even if it's not supposed to be like that. So, however, when I'm giving my analysis or when I am cleaning the data, I can do that on my own. So, going to the first part of the question that says we should look for the duplicate. So, what I did first was I had to highlight the whole data set, and I went to the data toggle, the data bar on the Excel sheet to search for duplicate to ensure that there is no duplicate in the to ensure that there's no duplicate in the data set. So I went to data, then I removed duplicate by highlighting the whole data set to ensure that it covers the data set I want to work on. So, and a prompt actually came in, more like a dialog box, came back and said there is no duplicate in this data set. So then I went on to proceed. I proceeded to the next question that asks us to calculate sum, the maximum, the minimum, and their grade. So I'm going to the next slide now. So I'm going to the next slide now, which is the step number 3. Now that has to do with calculation. That's calculation with formulas. So to do that, the first thing I did was I had to create a column for average score. If you look at my Excel data sheet very well, you notice that I added a column for average score and grade also. I added a column for average score and grade to the data set I was given. So in doing that, now I had to do that so that I can be able to answer the last part of the question that says calculate their grade. So that was why I added the average score there and the grade also. So I can be able to calculate the last part of the question that says we should also calculate their grades also. So now the next bullet point I have on that third slide, which is to calculate calculations with formula. Now to calculate each row average score as well as set up an average system for each row, I had to remember that the row is actually the horizontal while the column is actually the vertical. So if you look at the data set very well, I have it numbered from 2 to I have a data set of 1001 data. So what I did was I had to calculate the average score of each row. I had to calculate the average score of each row, and so I used the formula um for each row. I start with the first row, so I use the formula which is equals to average. Then I calculated using F2 to FH. That is, I'm calculating the scores for writing, the math score, the reading score, and the writing score. So I had to look for the average score. So that was the reason for the average score column on my Excel sheet. So I calculated each row's average score. Then I used so instead of doing it one by one, so since it's a formula, so I can actually drag down the formula to the last data set. So what I did was I calculated the average score, then I dragged it down to the last data set. So the next thing is I have to calculate. So the next slide now. Now, to get the grade, because I'm calculating grade now, so in this case I'll be using a next function. I'll be using a next function to get the grade for each data. So I remember that a nextEd function is a conditional is a conditional statement. Like you create a conditional statement to, because in this case I'm not using two conditions now. If not, if I were to be using two conditions, I would have used the if statement instead of the nested if statement. So the nested if statement allows more options, while the if statement actually allows just two options. That is either pass or fail, either distinction. You can only toggle between two things. But the nested if function gives you the freedom to go beyond two options. So what I did was I had to use the nested if function to calculate. I had to use the nested if function to get the grades for each of the data sets. And at the last part of my at the bottom part of my data set, which is under the student analysis performance, if you go to my Excel, you will see that I gave a breakdown of how it is graded, how the average score is graded. So on the bottom part, I have grade breakdown, and I have score range, and I also have the grade. So under the score range, I have from 90 to 100. From 90 to 100 signifies a grade of A, and from 80 to 89 signifies a grade of B. 70 to 79 signifies a grade of C. 60 to 69 signifies a grade of D, and 50 to 59 signifies a grade of E, while 40 to 0 signifies a grade of F. So I've actually done that grade breakdown, and I used the nested if function. Then I used the nested if function to achieve that. So that is why you can see that on my grade column, I have C. Those are between that range. You can see their grade also. So the next part of the slide, which says calculating the sum. So now, in calculating the sum, I cannot calculate the sum for each. I can actually calculate the sum for each row of data set, but I'm not really achieving much in calculating the sum of each row of data set. So rather, I would calculate the sum for the whole data set under each subject, which is the math score, the reading score, and the writing score. I think that should give me that should be reasonable enough. But well, for me, I just determined that because the question did not specify that, but the question only asks us to just calculate the sum, the max, and the mean. So I just used my discretion in doing that. So in calculating the sum, if you look at my Excel sheet now, at the bottom part you will see a breakdown of that analysis there, where I calculated the sum. Using the sum function. So what I did was I had total, that is the total of each subject score, that is the total of the math score, the reading score, the writing score, because the sum function also means total. So I calculated the total, which is the sum. I calculated the average score for each score, and I also calculated the minimum score for each subject and the maximum score for each subject. So which was what I did using the if function, using the sum function. So the sum function, because because I have the math score on my F column, So what I did was on that last part, I have sum equals to sum. So I wrote the formula there on how I got the total sum of each score, and likewise the average score Also, I also wrote the formula which I use. You can see for each column for the scores, I calculated their average, and for the each column of the score, I also calculated their sum. And also, I also did the same thing for the maximum and likewise the minimum, which is the last part. So the seventh slide was to explain more on my was to explain more on the second part of the question that says create a responsive dashboard. Please, am I communicating? Hello.
I can hear you.
Yes, you are communicating. I love it. You can continue.
So the seventh slide was to continue my presentation for the other two questions, but like I said, I'm really sorry for not being able to put that up in a presentation manner, but I can actually explain it. So the second question says create a responsive dashboard. Create a responsive dashboard. Work with pivot table. Connect your slicer to the chart to make it look responsive. Providing your findings and step by presenting it on a PowerPoint. Um, I would have loved to do that, but I'm really sorry for not being able to do that. So now I want to go to the second part of the question. So please, sir, can you go to the Excel sheet, sir?
So you
Okay,
can continue.
thank you very much, sir. So on my Excel sheet, you can see that for every worksheet, that is for every workbook that I use, or sorry, for every worksheet that I use, I actually highlighted, you know, the question is, so it's more like I solved my whole question in a workbook. So like Mr. Martins, instructor Martins actually said, the workbook is actually a book itself. So in a book you have different sheets. So that is why you're seeing at the bar below you can see pivot table, student performance, inventory, farm, and question one. So if you look at my student performance, if you click on that, you'll see the breakdown of what I just explained as you got question one. You would see it there. You would see it there. Yeah. So, and if you go to the question one, I actually brought out my analysis. I brought it out and pasted it under the worksheets where I titled question one. Where I titled question one. Sir, please can you click on that so they can see, sir? Yes, thank you very much, sir. So you can see I have it broken down there, where I have the total score for math score, the reading score, the writing score, average score, and the same thing with the average of each score. The average of each score. Then on this average score is just giving us a glimpse of the whole data set. It's giving us a glimpse of the whole data set. That is, we have average score. Now we have total score and we have average score. Where they actually intersect, that's 67,770.66667 actually is telling us the total average score for both the maths, the reading, and the writing. That's the total average score that we have in that data set. And we have the average score for the average score for the total data set to be 67 points. That's the average score for the total data set. So it's more like we just did a mean of the whole data set. The mean score of the whole data set to be 67.77. Then we have scores to be, for maths we have 100, same thing for writing. Then we have the minimum score. So what I did was I checked the maths was actually zero. The minimum score for reading was 17, and the minimum score for writing was 10. Why the minimum average score for the data set was actually 9. Then you can see the breakdown of my why how it is graded. So that is what I have here. Then let's go to the pivot table. The pivot table. Okay. So for the pivot, sir, please, sir, can you click on the pivot table, sir? So sorry for stressing you, sir.
Can you hear me?
I
Hello,
can
sir.
hear
Your
you.
screen is not showing.
Okay.
The pivot table, sir. Okay. So we have the pivot table. In order to answer the question for that pivot table, obviously we have to work with a pivot table. And how do we do that? So the first highlights the data set that we were given in the question. So that was what I did. I highlighted the data set and I went to insert. I went to insert on the menu bar. Then I went to on pivot table. It actually brought out a dashboard by the side where I could actually work with whatever I want to. So so what I did is I on the pivot table you'll notice that whenever you click on the pivot table you have a very small dashboard, so you can actually you want to compare with each other. I think the pivot as explained, the pivot table is actually for comparison of different informations in a data set. So what I did was I had to drag the the title bar of our data set. On the title bar of each data set we have um the gender, we have race, we have parental level of education, we have launch, tests, preparation course, math score, reading score, and all of that. So that is what we have. So what I did was I had to drag the gender to the row column of the pivot table, and likewise the grade also, and the race ethnicity. I did that. So in doing that, um, okay. So what I did was I dragged the gender to the row to the row part
Okay.
of the.
Okay. A minute, okay? I think you have
Okay,
been speaking, and I want you to calm down, okay?
okay, so
Although I love your work, I love your work.
thank
I
you, sir.
think you are amazing. You are amazing, okay? You are
Thank you, sir.
amazing. Despite you fail to come to class regular and fail to communicate, I think you did well. You did well, absolutely well. I did not expect this from you, but today you make my day. You really make my day. For
Thank
me
you.
to see you doing this, I think the interactiveness, also the display. I think you are good. I believe this is your first
Yes,
working with
yes, sir.
this.
This is the first one.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good, yeah. So I think in CM Tech, I think this is how we build up our student. We make our student to work on research, to do more research, and also make use of some other research tools by and also gaining knowledge, external knowledge. Okay, I really appreciate your work. It's really recommendable. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think you are the best so far I've seen.
Oh,
And
thank you very
also
much.
Queen. So far, Queen is also the best. I think for Queen to use his phone, I think is absolute a guru. What if she used his laptop, her laptop? I think it would have done better. Okay, Queen is also one, and you are also one. I think you are the best. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate you, sir. So, like I said, we want to analyze and we want to do more like a comparative analysis of our data set. So we have the gender, we have the race. So I had to drag the gender to the row part of the pivot table. And the reason for that is to help me analyze the difference between the male and female. So if I actually want to get how many males, as per the question, if I want to get how many males or how many females, you know, did as regard their performance, I can be able to do that using the filter column, using the filter because I already dragged my gender to the filter part or the row column of the pivot table. Then I also have the race and ethnicity. So I actually dragged the race and ethnicity to the row column, to the row part of the pivot table, which actually, it helps me to observe the trend and gaps in the student performance. Then I also have the parental education. So the parental education was the parental education also was dragged to the filter part of the pivot table. Then I have test the test preparation dragged to the filter. Then the grade was actually dragged to the to the row part of the pivot table. Then don't forget I've calculated my average score already. So the average score, I have to drag it to the value part. On the pivot table, I think it is broken down to four different sections. We have the row, we have the column, we have the value, and we have the filter part. So I have to drag the average score to the value part because I'm talking about numbers now. So and dragging into the value part, you have to actually change the value. Are you looking for because I have to answer the question that am I looking for the sum or I'm looking for the average or I'm looking for the minimum or maximum. So I can actually do that using the value part of the pivot table. So I actually drag it to the value part, then I set it to the average score. And that is why you can see that we have average score, then we have average of mathematics, average of each scores like that. Then um and then the same thing I did for the maths, the reading, and the writing scores because I wanted to get the average of each of them, and that is why you're seeing the average of each scores on the pivot table. So in doing that, I also set the launch as a filter also. I set the launch as a filter. So this is to see the performance difference between hello sir. Hello,
I
sir.
think his network tripped off.
Okay.
So he should be back. Sha.
Sorry, I was having network issue. You can continue.
Okay, sir.